Hey, greetings, family. This is Chief Kalanago. I'm back. All right, and as promised, let me get into this other live. Okay. Let me see. Do right here. Okay. Let us get into this. All right. Let us get into this. Let me refresh this. Let's get into this. All right. So I'm gonna get into this once again. I want to acknowledge the great spirit, universal intelligence, the great I am. Want to give thanks to my ancestors and acknowledge them. All right. So I want to get into this real quick, and I'm going to read an article, and I'm just going to give my opinion. You know, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and I'm going to give mine. Normally, I don't get into this type of things. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, it's their distractions, right? But at some point, you feel like you just have to say something, and I'm just going to say the way I feel about it. I'm going to talk about that. All right, and that's that. Okay. So let me go ahead and share this article with y'all, and then we'll read it. Okay, let's get into this. All right, so here we go. This article, all right. Here we go. This Atlanta City Council honors Lil X with his own day at homecoming events. All right, now I'm going to be talking about this not because I'm hating on Lil Nas X. Okay, when I do things, I do it for a whole complete different reason. But I'm also going to give my opinion on what's happening here. But I'm coming at this situation with a twist. All right. And you guys will see exactly where I'm coming from. Okay. So Atlanta City Council honors Lil Nas X with his own day at homecoming event. All right, so let's read a little bit. It was a day in Atlanta that Lil Nas X won't forget, mostly because it was named for him. Now, mind you, me personally, I don't know a lot about Nas X. I don't care to know a lot about Nas X. I just see a lot of stuff sometimes in a few recent times or months with him on Facebook and all these different things. And I don't get into all the distraction, right? But I know enough to know what's happening. Okay. The 22-year-old Grammy Award winning rapper who was born and raised in Northwest Atlanta, Bankhead neighborhood, returned to the city on Wednesday night for a homecoming event hosted by Atlanta musician and producer Dallas Austin. Lil Nas X, whose real name is Montero Lamar Hill, put out his first album, Montero, last month. Just 2 days ago, his song Industry Baby, featuring Jack Harlow, reached the top spot on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. His third number one hit so far. Article continues below. Atlanta City Council member Antonio Brown, who is running for mayor, attended the event of around 200 people to present Lil Nas X with two city council proclamations commemorating the artist's success and officially dubbing October 20th, okay, 2021 Lil Nas X Day. Okay. Now, you continue to break barriers and you do it unapologetically. And I think it's inspires so many people in this city. All right. That's what he's saying. All right. The one that's running for mayor, Antonio Brown, right? You are an example of the possibilities that exist within all of us, Brown said prior to giving Lil Nas X the first award. So on behalf of the city of Atlanta, I would like to honor you with the city proclamation, acknowledging your success, especially from your hometown here in Georgia. Now, I'm going to stop here, okay? The rest of the article you could read, This is not about gossip because I don't get into gossip. Okay, but however, I have a message here and I'm going to speak my mind. All right. And like I said, I'm going to look at this from a different perspective. Okay. I don't care what Lil Nas X do with his life. That's none of my business. I don't care. In fact, I don't care what anybody else do with their life. All right. Who you sleep with, who you mess with, what you want to become, that's on you. I don't care. All right. But what I am going to say is this. A lot of our young men and women, okay, they make an attempt to be aspiring rappers, actresses, and actors, okay, and celebrities. All right. They are never given a chance if they want to do it a way where they don't have to compromise, okay, to what Hollywood perceive or the lifestyle or what Hollywood promotes. Okay, they don't get that chance. In other words, if you're not willing to sell your soul, you don't get that chance. All right, we know that's what Hollywood is about. So that's number one. Okay. Number two, like I tell people, there's an agenda going on. Whether you like it or not, that's on you. I mean, you could be blind to what's happening, but there's an agenda happening. Okay. And it's all about politics. It's all politics. Keep that in mind. Now, this gentleman that goes around, okay, with, you know, whatever lifestyle that he want to live, that's his business. But a man wearing dresses, looking pregnant, okay, that's what's been promoted, okay, and that's what he's getting awards for, all right, because there's an underlying message behind that, okay, a message to our young men. Now, whether y'all want to believe it or not, whether you want to see it or not, that's on you. You see what I'm saying? But you could be blind, and that's fine. You could be naive, and that's fine. You feel me? Look at how long so-called black people are fighting for justice. Huh? Especially in Atlanta. They cannot get it. Think about what I'm saying. They cannot get it. How many of us that know we are indigenous and step into these people and they will not allow us to even proclaim that we indigenous? But you are giving a man that wears dresses, that shows that in pictures that a man, kind of like promoting men getting pregnant, and he's getting a day. And that's the angle that I want to look at it at. Not what he does with his life. I don't care. You see what I'm saying? But I'm just showing you the politics in everything. And all these things happen because we allow those things to happen. So now we have a young man who's thinking, well, you know what? If he could wear a dress and do that, then I don't see a problem with that. Well, me personally, I see a problem with that. That's me though, but that's my opinion. You see, everybody's always talking, and afraid to say how they truly feel because people are just too sensitive. You see what I'm saying? People are just too sensitive. And that's fine if you want to be sensitive. But I'm going to say this because I'm not here to say that his music is, I've never heard a Nas X song. Okay. All I see is just images and what's being promoted. Okay. And in my opinion, there is an agenda going on. Okay. There is a war against our people, especially our men. And a lot of people will not see it that way. A lot of our women are condoning the young boys wearing panties and putting on dresses. Now, if y'all don't see something wrong with that, then I don't know what to say. You feel me? Because when I was growing up, when my parents were growing up, when their parents were growing up, okay, That wasn't part of our culture. Little boys were little boys. And I'll even tell you this. There were little boys with feminine ways because they gravitated more to the feminine energy. And that was cool. But guess what? They were not sleeping with other men. That is something that they started promoting heavy. And people don't see anything, and they don't see the agenda. Oh, you know what? That is just everybody. That's what America is. You know what I'm saying? It's just the boiling pot and just do anything. No, you see, y'all don't realize all that is part of what we call colonization. It's all part of colonization. Look at how many of us are still getting pulled over by the police. Right? We're still getting pulled over by the police. No justice. Don't you think they could take care of, literally, if the system want to make a change and say, listen, man, y'all got to stop abusing these so-called black people, so-called African American. That thing will happen overnight. You see what I'm saying? But it's no, they cannot promote that. They cannot promote justice. Okay? They cannot promote equality. But I promise you, they could promote our little boys being women, wearing dresses, acting like they could get pregnant. And a warning to y'all women out there, stop promoting that. Because if y'all don't think nature is going to react, y'all got something coming for y'all. Like I told y'all before, if y'all don't want to get y'all act together, I'm not going to stay here in the United States and perish with y'all, because this place will go down. I promise you, the ancestors will take it down, because y'all taking this for a joke and y'all taking it for a game. You feel me? Now, I'll tell you something. Once again, I don't care who anybody want to mess with, and y'all want to talk about, oh, well, this is how I am and this is how not I am. It doesn't matter to me. But I'm going to ask you to do an experiment right now. Okay? Because everybody could live their life. I respect that. And I'm going to say that personally. I could respect that. Okay? But I want you to think about this. Let us do an experiment. Okay? Let's do an experiment. And this is the experiment. Let us take all the men in the United States. Okay? Well, before I even do that, can anybody tell me what is the life expectancy of people right now? How old do you think people live right now? Can anybody put that in the chat? Like, how old do you think people can live right now? On and I'm talking about on average, not one or two, examples. All right, I'm talking about overall. How long do you think people live right now? Okay, 70 max. Somebody say 70. Anybody else? Okay, we'll say 70 on average, right? We could even say 80. All right, let's say 80 on average. Okay, good. Some people say 98. Let's say 100. All right, let's just say 100. All right, y'all can't hear me. I don't know. Can you guys hear me? If you could hear me, go ahead and type 1, please, because I mean, I think my audio is good. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Go ahead and type 1. Yeah. I don't know. Brian, check your device, because my audio is good. All right, my audio is good. Now, so let's just say on average 85. But you know what? I'm going to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. Let's say everybody were to live at least 130 years. Okay? And I'm stretching it. I want you guys to do an experiment. Let's do an experiment in the United States. Let's take all the men, okay, and let's put them on one side of the country, okay? And let's take all the women and put them on one side of the country, okay? And if the average life expectancy, and I'm stretching it, is 130 years, let's separate them for at least 300 years. Okay? No interaction. Let's take all the men in the United States, put them on one half of the United States, and all the women on the other half of the United States for 300 years. Can anybody tell me? No interaction. The men stay on one side for 300 years, and the women stay on one side for 300 years. You tell me what's going to happen. Can anybody tell me what's going to happen? A simple experiment. Can anybody tell me? For 300 years, we're going to have an experiment. All men on one side of the United States and all the women on one side of the United States. Okay? No interaction with men and women. What do you think is going to happen in 300 years? Guess what? There will be no human life in the United States. Why? Because it is not natural. It is not natural. Life, human life will be extinct. So don't tell me that it is natural. No, it's a choice that you make. Whether it was influenced by whatever transpired in your life. The point is, it was a choice. Because the truth of the matter is, no one is born gay and no one is born straight. I'm going to repeat that again. No one is born gay and no one is born straight. However, nature gave us her rules. It takes a man and a woman to create life, and that is the natural nature way. Everything else is a matter of choice. And yes, you have a right to do what you want. You have free will. But when it goes against nature, nature will retaliate. I just want y'all to know this. Okay? There's a town in Jamaica. I forgot the name. I think it's called, it might have been Port Royal. I forgot, but I'm going to do a video on that. Okay? They called it the most recent Sodom and Gomorrah. That was all that was happening in that part of Jamaica. Okay? Prostitution, homosexuality, drinking and all. Guess what? Nature came and wiped that whole piece of the island down. So when y'all playing around with the natural order of nature and afraid to speak because people don't want you to speak because an agenda is going on, okay, then that's on y'all. But I promise you, I'm not going to be around with y'all when all this is going down. I'm not going to be here. Okay? Because the goal is to defeminize our men, not defeminize, but feminize our men, all right? So that they compete with our women, so that they hate our women, so they become best friends with our women, so that why? So that our women will not have men, okay, to give them babies, so that our race will continue to thrive. If y'all cannot see the agenda, then y'all deserve what's coming. And it doesn't take much. You see, it doesn't take much, just a little bit of thinking to see a very, 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 very simple experiment. Let's take everybody, put them together and say, hey, we are going to do an experiment. All the men go on the left side of the country all the women go on the right side of the country for 300 years, and let's see what happens. And let's see what happens. And y'all tell me, well, how natural it is. You tell me that's how you were born. And people talk about, well, what about twin spirits? You don't know what twin spirit is, okay? People who were born with both sex organs, okay? That was considered, yes, in indigenous culture, that person was acknowledged as a high spirit person. Why? Because they had both aspects of what we call the great spirit, the masculine and the feminine energy in one body and with the organs as well. Okay? That doesn't mean homosexuality. You see, y'all are confusing, okay, the masculine and the feminine energy with a physical act. That's the problem. It's okay for a man to tap into his feminine energy. It doesn't mean he have to sleep with a man. It's okay for a woman to tap into her masculine energy. It doesn't mean she have to sleep with a woman. All that stuff is physical. And all that stuff is vibrating in your lower frequency. So when y'all take, high frequency knowledge, okay, and then take it and make it canal, okay, in the low frequency, then that's on y'all. And once again, I have to say this. I am not hitting anybody for what they're doing, but please open up your mind and see the agenda. See the agenda. And don't tell me Hollywood is not pushing an agenda. Don't tell me that. Because we are still fighting for our basic rights. But they gave this man the key to the city. They gave him a day of his own, the proclamation. But you still cannot drive down the street while you're so-called black without the police pulling you over and say you fit a description. If y'all don't see what's going on, like I said, man, I'm not going to stick around here and perish with y'all. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to. And we have a lot of our women supporting that. That's how lost a lot of them are. Because your sons are becoming your competition. Because they want to wear your panties now. And y'all don't see a problem with that. And anytime you stand up and speak, oh, you become the enemy. Right? But yet still, they forced a Bible on us and tell us that it was an abomination. You see the hypocrisy. You see what I'm saying? So all I'm asking you guys is to open up your eyes, man. Open up your eyes and see what's going on. And when people talk, they become public enemy number one. I'm thankful, my son. I'm so happy that I was in my son's life and raised him and taught him how to be a man. You feel me? Because I'll be damned if my son, talking about, he wearing panties. And if y'all don't realize what's happening, I promise you, 50, 100 years from now, okay, we will have no men, okay, that's here to protect our women and children. In fact, we wouldn't have children because how are the women going to get pregnant? And you know what? And the funny thing is this, right? I saw a video. I'm not going to show it, but I saw a video on Facebook that kind of like went down my timeline. It was a show on, I think it was one of the judges, right? And, two women in a relationship, okay? They took a man to court because they wanted to have a baby, and then they solicit that, they not solicit, but they got in touch with him. All right. And they had a verbal contract, whatever the case may be, so he could get them pregnant. Okay. Now, mind you, two women in a relationship, two sisters. All right. Now, the gentleman that they paid to come to their home, to drive literally an hour to their home and ejaculate in a container, do it at least 2 or 3 times a day so they could get pregnant, is a 16 or 17, I think 17 or 18-year-old Caucasian male. You see what I'm saying? So it's not bad enough, okay, that you cannot get pregnant on your own because it's not natural. And even in the court, they said it. The judge said it. Well, why did you want to have to say, well, you know what? Well, we are two women, in a relationship, and, we can't have babies naturally because it's not natural. But even more so, they got a 17 or 16-year-old Caucasian boy, not even a brother, to give them a baby. And if y'all don't see the mental damage that a lot of our people are dealing with, okay, y'all got mental problems as well. Okay, y'all got mental problems as well. When you have men calling themselves queens. I don't know what else to tell y'all, man. But that's why I wanted to comment on that. I normally don't get into these things, but I just have to give my part and say how I feel about that. I have never listened to the man music. Maybe he have great music. I don't know. I don't listen to today's music, okay? The type of rap that they have, I don't listen to that. So if he got his awards, great. But all I'm just saying is, see how long so-called black people have been fighting for over 200, 300, 400 years, okay? Still being shot in the street. But you put on a dress and you will get awards in Hollywood. Put on a dress and you will get proclamations. I guarantee you, if we step up right now, let them say now we're indigenous, we this and we that, see how much pushback we are going to get. Because you know why? That wouldn't be considered an agenda that will work for their benefit. And that's why I spoke about this. Okay? That's why I spoke about it. If within your physical manifestation, you want to mess with whoever you want to mess with, that's on you. You have that right. And I have nothing against that. That's your choice. But don't tell me it's natural. Because it's not. That's not what nature intended. I think people forgot the part about be fruitful and multiply. That's how life gets to evolve, human life. So I just asked to do that very simple experiment and prove me wrong. And then you will know what's natural or not. It is really that simple. And I'm going to repeat myself. No one was born gay. No one was born straight. Nature just gave us her order. It takes a man and a woman, and that's the order of things. The Trinity. Woman, man, and child. Everything else is a choice that you make. Somewhere in your life, something happened, and you chose that path. Okay? So, I'll just leave it as that. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. I just had to, say my piece on that. Because you see, the music, okay, the imagery, all that stuff is an agenda. Music, call our women female dogs. And our women celebrate that, okay? The music, let's teach the young men how to blow each other's heads off. And our people, they glorify that. Okay? The music, let's teach our men how to wear panties. Everybody think it's cute. Okay? The music, let's teach our women how to replace the men. And y'all don't think that's warfare? Hmm? Y'all don't think that, huh? Keep living the illusion. The United States got some amazing plans for y'all. And if y'all refuse to wake up or stand up and say, hey, enough is enough, well, like I said, I'll be buying a one-way ticket because I don't want to be here when the ship start to sink. You feel me? And that's just how I feel about this. Live your life, do what you want, but know that there are always consequences for every action, for everything that goes against nature's orders. And in fact, I wish I'd remembered exactly, what was, the that town in Jamaica. I forgot. I'm not sure if it was Port Royal, but let me see. Let me see if I could get it for you. Let me see if I could pull it up for you. Okay. Does not support Jamaica. Let me see. Yes, Port Royal. Yep. Port Royal. Let me pull it up for y'all. Considered one of the wickedest cities on earth. Okay. Nature took that down. All right. Let me pull it up for y'all because I don't want y'all to think I'm making up things. Whether you think it's a god, whether you think it's nature, whatever the case may be, it is what it is. All right. But let me show it to you real quick. Oh, come on, man. And all that is when Europeans started coming into Jamaica. Okay. Let me go ahead and share my screen real quick. And I'll just show you guys that. All right. And I did remember the name, Port Royal. Okay. All right. Heritage Daily. This was a big story. Okay. Big story. Okay. This is the header image, Jean Lukin and Pierre Jean de whatever, public domain, right? Port Royal, the Sodom of the New World. Port Royal, originally named Cagway, was an English harbor town and notorious base for buccaneers, okay, and privateers during the 17th century AD. The region around Port Royal was the first occupied by the Taino and indigenous peoples of the Caribbean who Christopher Columbus entered during his voyage to the New World in 1492. With the arrival of the Europeans, the new continent, the Spanish landed in Jamaica in 1494, who planned to use Jamaica as a supply base for both New Andalusia and New Cusca, whatever that country is, and take advantage of the natural resources. Having discovered little to no riches, the Spanish instead started to cultivate the land and establish a colony for processing sugar cane. During the Anglo-Spanish War, an English expeditionary force invaded Jamaica in 1655, and the entire island was formally ceded by Spain in 1670, Treaty of Madrid. The English began to develop a new harbor town named Port Royal and constructed a series of forts for town's defense. To provide further security for the town, Governor Edward Deoli invited the Brethren of the Coast, a loose coalition of pirates and privateers, commonly known as buccaneers, to make the town their home port of operations. The Brethren of the Coast were a regulated syndicate of captains with outside benefactors who preyed upon Spanish maritime shipping for their cargo. By 1660s, Port Royal had gained a reputation as the Sodom of the New World for notable privateers such as Christopher Mings, who commanded whole fleets of buccaneers, sacking and massacring entire towns, and Henry Morgan, who raided shipping on the Spanish Main and attacked Panama City. The port was also a base for buccaneers such as Roche Brasiliano, who was known to cut off his limb of his captives and roast them alive on a spit. John Davis, who sacked the Dutch island of Tobago near Trinidad, and Edward Manvelt, who led the fleet which captured Grenada and the island of Santa Catalina. Right, they're showing how it sunk on the ground, right? This relationship greatly benefited the English crown as it gave England the means to weaken Spanish foothold in the Caribbean and Americas without committing military forces in the endeavor. The situation changed in 1687 when Jamaica passed anti-piracy laws and Port Royal became one of the primary sites of execution for pirate captains such as Charles Vane, Calico, Jack John Rackham, and Mary Read, a famed female pirate who died in prison. The town continued to prosper, and Port Royal grew to a population of 6,500 inhabitants. This rapid development led to a shortage of available land, and houses were often built on reclaimed land from heavy brick construction. On 7th June 1692, the fortunes of Port Royal would have changed forever. Jamaica was hit by a large earthquake, causing the land on the Port Royal to liquefy and flow out into Kingdom Harbor. Buildings would literally sink into a sludge, resembling quicksand, and the town was enveloped by a tsunami that followed. In the aftermath, the lack of clean water, sewage, and crops deposited by the flood waters led to the malignant fever and cholera for the survivors. In the years that followed, attempts would be made to rebuild Port Royal, but Mother Nature would continue to strike down the Sodom of the New World with hurricane fires and outbreaks of disease. No matter how they tried to rebuild it, Mother Nature tore it down. Everything they did, it was hurricanes, fires, and outbreaks of disease until they had to leave it alone. Okay? Because all that was going on in there was men sleeping with men, drunkenness, and prostitution. Okay? So if y'all want to keep playing with nature and think people are hating just because they don't want people to live their life, no. There's a spiritual, okay, consequence for going against nature's order. And like I said, I know a lot of people get into their feelings, but I want y'all to see with your own eyes. No matter how they try to rebuild it, Mama Nature said no. It ain't happening. Even up to this present day, they had to leave it alone. Okay? So y'all do what y'all feel y'all need to do. That's all I'm going to say. All right? But we got to stop allowing the media, these people, to push this agenda on our people. Okay? Now, like I said before, you could live your life and do what you want to do. That's fine. All right? But now it's an agenda that's being pushed. Okay? This is more than just living your life, a private life. This is about an agenda that's being pushed on our young men and our young women. because the goal is by 2050, okay, to make sure that the Negro population in the United States is depleted. But y'all will not see why that's happening. But carry on. Chief Kalanago don't know what he's talking about. All right. So I just wanted to give my 2 cents on that and let it be. Okay. So y'all enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will be talking to y'all soon. Take care.